Here's what nobody tells you when you're trying to build a real estate portfolio on a regular paycheck. You don't need a new pile of cash for every property you buy. There's a system that lets you recycle the same money over and over again. It's called BRRRR. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. And by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly how it works, what the numbers need to look like, where most beginners blow it, and how to run your first deal start to finish. We're going from zero to executable. Here's your roadmap. First, I'm breaking down what BRRRR actually is and why it exists. Then we're going into each letter: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, as its own chapter with real numbers attached. After that, I'm walking you through one real-world example deal so you can see the whole cycle in motion. Then I'm going to tell you the 4 mistakes that kill BRRRR deals before they close. And finally, I'll tell you exactly how to find your first BRRRR property and what tools to use. Let's get into it. BRRRR exists because of one core problem: capital gets trapped. The traditional way to build a portfolio goes like this: save $50,000, put it down on a rental, wait 5 years, save another $50,000, buy another one. You're on a treadmill. You're trading time for properties. BRRRR breaks that loop. The whole point is to force equity through renovation, pull that equity back out through a cash-out refinance, and then redeploy it into the next deal. When you execute it correctly, you can recover 80, 90, even 100% of your initial cash and still own the property generating rent. That's not a loophole. That's how institutional investors have operated for decades. You're just finally learning the playbook. Let's start with the B, buy. And I want to be really specific here because this is where most beginners either win or lose the entire deal before a single nail gets hammered. You are not buying a retail property. You are not buying something that's already renovated and listed pretty on Zillow. You are buying distressed. You are buying ugly. You are buying the house on the block that nobody wants, because nobody wants it is exactly what creates your margin. The number you need to know is ARV, after repair value. That's what the property will be worth after you fix it up. Your purchase price plus your rehab costs needs to come in at or below 70 to 75% of that ARV. That's your ceiling. If ARV is $200,000, your all-in cost, purchase plus rehab, cannot exceed $140,000 to $150,000. That gap is your equity. Protect it. Where do you find these deals? You're pulling lists on PropStream or batch leads, absentee owners, tax delinquents, probate properties. You're making offers on the MLS for properties sitting 60-plus days with price reductions. You're on the BiggerPockets forums, connecting with wholesalers in your market who are already finding distressed inventory. You are not waiting for a deal to come to you. You are sourcing. Second letter, rehab. This is the most dangerous part of BRRRR for a beginner because it's where budgets bleed out and timelines collapse. Here's your rule. You are not renovating this house to your personal taste. You are renovating it to the rental market standard in that specific zip code. That means LVP flooring, not hardwood. Granite or butcher block counters, not custom cabinetry. Neutral paint, functional fixtures, clean bathrooms. You want the property to photograph well, rent fast, and require minimal maintenance for the next 5 years. Scope your rehab before you close on the property, not after. Walk it with a contractor, get a written estimate, and then add 15% as a contingency buffer. Always. The rehab on a typical BRRRR deal in a Midwest B-class market might run $25,000 to $45,000. Coastal markets or higher-end properties can push $60,000 to $80,000. Know your number before you're locked in, and keep a rehab log. Every receipt, every invoice, every change order. Your lender is going to want documentation when it's time to refinance, and the IRS is going to want it come tax season. Third letter, rent. You need a tenant in place before most conventional lenders will do your cash-out refinance. That's not a suggestion, that's a requirement. So you need to move fast on leasing after rehab. Before you even finish the renovation, you should be running comps on Rentometer and Zillow Rental Manager to know exactly what this property will rent for. You need to hit a number that supports your debt service after refinancing and still cash flows. Here's a rough benchmark. Your monthly rent should be at least 1% of your total all-in cost. If you're all in at $130,000, you need at least $1,300 a month in rent. That's the 1% rule, and while it's not gospel, it's a fast filter. Screen your tenants hard. Use a platform like Turbo Tenant or Rent Ready to collect applications, run background and credit checks, and set up online rent collection from day one. A bad tenant in a BRRRR property doesn't just cost you rent. It delays your refinance, blows your timeline, and traps your capital longer than planned. Fourth letter, refinance. This is the engine. This is where you get your money back. After your rehab is done and you have a tenant in place, typically after a 6-month seasoning period that most lenders require, you're going to a bank or portfolio lender and doing a cash-out refinance based on the new appraised value of the property. Here's what that looks like with real numbers. You bought a property for $85,000. You put $35,000 into the rehab. You're all in at $120,000. The after-repair value appraised at $175,000. The lender will loan you up to 75% of that appraised value on a cash-out refi. That's $131,250. You pay off your original acquisition financing, and you walk away with roughly $11,000 to $15,000 in cash back after closing costs. You now own a cash-flowing rental with a conventional 30-year mortgage, and you've recovered most of your initial investment to redeploy. Now, if you execute the deal tighter, say you bought at $75,000 and kept rehab to $28,000, you might pull out enough to cover 90 to 100% of what you put in. That's the goal. That's what people mean when they say infinite returns on a BRRRR deal. For lenders, look at local community banks and credit unions first. They're more flexible on investment property refinances than the big nationals. Also, check with lenders active on the BiggerPockets lender directory. You want someone who understands investment property, not just primary residence loans. Fifth letter, repeat. You take that recycled capital and you go find the next deal. That's it. That's the whole system. One good BRRRR a year for 5 years, and you've got a portfolio that a traditional buy-and-hold investor would have taken 20 years to build, because they were starting from scratch every single time, and you were running laps with the same money. Now let me walk you through a real example so this stops being abstract. Marcus is a 34-year-old electrician in Indianapolis. He's been saving aggressively, puts together $60,000. He finds a 3-bed, 1-bath on the east side listed at $72,000. Price reduced twice, sitting 80 days on market, needs a full kitchen update and bathroom work. Using hard money financing, he closes at $72,000. Rehab comes in at $31,000. Kitchen, bath, flooring, exterior paint, HVAC tune-up. He's all in at $103,000. He rents it for $1,150 a month. Tenant moves in within 19 days of listing. 6 months later, the property appraises at $155,000. He goes to a local community bank, does a cash-out refi at 75% LTV. That's $116,250. After paying off his hard money loan and closing costs, Marcus nets back approximately $42,000. He still owns the property. It cash flows around $280 a month after mortgage, taxes, insurance, and a vacancy reserve. He takes that $42,000 and starts hunting the next deal. That's BRRRR in the real world, not theory, executed. Before you run out and start making offers, here are the 4 mistakes I see kill BRRRR deals. 1. Overestimating ARV. You think the house will appraise at $200K because you saw one comp from 14 months ago. Use the last 90 days of sold comps only, same bed and bath count, within half a mile. 2. Underestimating rehab. You got one quote, it was $22,000. You ran with it. Then you opened up the walls. Always get 3 bids. Always add 15% contingency. Always. 3. Using the wrong financing. Hard money loans have timelines. If your rehab drags 6 months and your hard money is a 12-month note, you might have a few months of runway left when you're trying to refinance. Know your loan terms before you start swinging hammers. 4. Skipping the seasoning period. Some lenders want 6 months of ownership before they'll do a cash-out refi. Some want 12. Know your lender's seasoning requirements before you close on the acquisition, not after. Here's how you start. This week, not eventually, this week, go to BRRRR and find the forum for your target market. Read the last 30 posts. Get a feel for what's moving. Sign up for a free PropStream trial and run a list of absentee owners with 40+% equity in a zip code you're watching. Connect with 2 wholesalers. Pull comps on Zillow for distressed properties sitting 60+ days. Build a simple spreadsheet. Purchase price, estimated rehab, ARV, projected rent, projected refi proceeds, projected cash flow. Run 10 fake deals before you run a real one. By the time you make your first offer, you'll already think like an investor who's done 5 of these. The code doesn't expire, but your window might.